Welcome back, Galaxy Brains. We are the Film Lovers Guide to the Galaxy, and today on this new episode for you, we're going to do two things. One, we're going to talk about Nathan Fielder's new docu-series that just finished airing, Rehearsal, and we're also going to do our 90s action genre draft, which will be a lot of fun talking about 90s action films. And then you, Galaxy Brains out there, will vote to see who has the best draft class out of us three. Before we get into all that, I know you guys are looking forward to hearing what really is grinding Joe's gears this week.
So I'm not gonna. The point of this rant is this. Let's say that costs you like 20 grand a year, okay? And the insurance covers 80. You're like, oh, it's a pretty good deal. Well, no, you have cancer.
What's the worst thing you'll do for $1 million?
Fuck you! Stop fucking dropping oil into the Gulf, you dipshits. Fucking morons.
Joe, what's grinding your gears this week?
I had a personal dilemma. I don't know if dilemma is the right word, but like a personal, long, like deep thing that's kind of fighting inside me.
Seems like you're like wrestling with your soul right now.
Yeah. So I went to Chipotle, right? And
I'm right there with you.
So here's the thing, right?
This is a safe space.
Here's the thing. So I went to Chipotle and I got a burrito. Like I don't do burritos that often. And I ran into the problem. You know, I feel like I don't get double meat or anything. I get the regular stuff, and I actually do get a bit of everything. And you run into the problem where you can't wrap it anymore. The lady wrapped it. It kind of like tore a little bit. She's like, "You want to double wrap?" I'm like, "All right, go ahead and double wrap it."
Isn't that her fault though?
I want to say yes, but at the same time, I think like to her credit, it was a lot of stuffing.
Okay.
And double wrapped it. I was like, "Hey, great!" Double wrapped it, and then I got it. And I have a picture of it because the guy that was ordering before me also got a burrito, and mine was like at least 40% larger. And I was like, okay, so I took that, I ate it, and I was thinking to myself, I don't know how I feel about the fact that I didn't enjoy it as much. And I think I've gotten to the age where I just want...
What kind of meat did you get?
Chicken. I just got a chicken burrito with sauce, and I got some guac, some corn and cheese, and that kind of stuff. Like, it wasn't like extra stuff. I didn't ask for like double rice. I didn't ask for,
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, like, the 18-year-old me, if this happened, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. Like, a giant burrito, awesome. Double wrap, too, awesome. But, I mean, I guess I'll ask you guys that, too. Like, I feel like I'd want... And because at the time, I'm the two forces I'm struggling with is this. One is I'm absolutely getting great value for the amount of money I'm paying because I get a lot of burrito.
Mm-hmm.
However, eating the burrito was quite challenging just because like I couldn't even put both of my hands around it kind of deal. And it was unstable.
I don't believe that.
I have pictures.
You're saying that it was too big for you to do that with. Like
I couldn't touch the tips of my fingers without like smushing the burrito. I'll show you. I have photos.
Then you know what you need to do? You need to go back to this Chipotle worker and marry her. Because
dude, first of all, because it's multiple people.
Because you apparently in where you live have much better Chipotle employees than I do. Because every time I go, I'm wondering why the fuck do I go here? They cheat me out of food.
They skimp.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. I could finish a full bowl and I'm still hungry, and that never used to happen.
So, I'm going to actually jump off what you said too, but the point of my initial rant is this. I am trying to figure out if I would prefer because a burrito is meant to be like a handheld food that doesn't fall apart in your hands.
I should be able to hold it with one hand and drive and safely.
Right, exactly, and not have shit fall over your lap. That wasn't the case here. So what happened was I ate about 80% of the burrito, and then unfortunately I used a spoon to eat the rest. I do feel a little shameful saying that to all the burrito lovers.
Yeah, I get you. You feel kind of shitty.
That being said, I just noticed what you said about that. People here in my part of town employ, I guess, children is the best way I can describe it, because it's like the owner's kids, and they're just like, "What do you want on it? Chicken." All right, and they just like clearly scoop more than the average amount. And I will never, for the rest of my life, ever be like, "Hey, that's too much chicken" or whatever. Like, I'm just all for it. I think that's how it is. Same. Also, I have a local Subway here that does the same thing. Like, they'll add like 2 layers of cheese.
I think it's insane that you're still eating at Subway, but that's for another discussion.
Dude, oh yeah, dude, I'm still a big fan of Subway. Honestly,
Subway fucking sucks, Joe.
Here's the deal. Though. My hospital pays for it for free.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's for another deal. But, by the way, you cut off a little bit. I want to say, for the record, I am for a manageable burrito that doesn't, like, Bo Burnham had a thing where he's like, remember his stand-up? He's like, a chicken burrito is complaining about some shit and falling apart, and I get that, man. I had such a moral quandary. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but the fact that, like, how would you feel, Johnny, if you paid $9 for a burrito? It is what it is. You didn't get a bowl. I understand. A lot of people solution to this, they'll get a bowl, but like, that's kind of skirting the problem here. If your burrito was so big that you couldn't wrap your hands around it, and it's like unstably falling apart, and it's like biting into it's kind of difficult because it's like 4 inches thick.
Did you use a knife? Did you have to split this thing in half?
No, because I think that'd be worse. Because then like the tortilla is gonna fall apart. What I did, I just kind of did the best I can, take bites out of it, and don't get me wrong, I was mega full. And towards the bottom half, I just used a spoon to kind of spoon up the rest.
I think you're right. You're right in the sense that 18-year-old me wouldn't give a shit. We think it's the best day ever.
Best day ever.
Right? Because someone clearly fucked up and didn't care and just gave us more food. But I don't know. I think we've talked about this with food before, how like sometimes it's like we want there's a balance between quantity and quality. I get that. But I think we talk about it more with burgers, right? Like for a burrito, I've never had that problem. But we definitely had problems with that with burgers before. Like a burger being so goddamn big that you're like,
it's tall. They're tall.
They're tall, and it's like, but the idea is that even if it's tall, I still have to squish it at some point, right? To eat it. Because if I don't, then it's not going to work that way.
Unhinge your jaw to eat that shit. That's ridiculous.
All right. So fans out, so Galaxy Brains out there, I know we are an auditory medium and not a visual medium, but Joe just sent the picture to us, and let me tell you, that shit kind of huge. You sure you didn't bite it vertically?
Yeah, no. But here's the thing, right? So as I was eating it, don't get me wrong, I had a great time. And I felt that I got a good value for my meal.
Great time.
Okay. Right? It's more towards the end. I'm like, I remember when I used to get a carne asada burrito at Alerto's, and it was great because it was like nicely wrapped and all, and fried and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. If someone else said you want to go to Chipotle, I'd still say yes. It's just the thought that came through my mind. I felt kind of like I betrayed myself or my younger self.
Tabasco on this?
It's the Chipotle. The Chipotle sauce they have there.
Okay. You just have a picture, like there's a Tabasco at the ready point, and I'm just like, damn, who puts Tabasco on a burrito?
Yeah, it's the Chipotle sauce thing. Whatever it tastes good. It's good. I like it.
Look, it might be a hot take for me. I'd rather have Rubio's bowl than Chipotle's bowl.
Oh, actually, I'm with you.
Never had it. Is it good?
Rubio's California bowl.
California bowl, dude.
So good.
What's in it?
Ooh, it's been a while. John, you're gonna have to take over that one.
You got rice. You can add the beans if you want. Has pico de gallo, lettuce, guac, and then your choice of protein, right? Most people will get chicken. No, I get the blackened salmon because like that shit is slaps. Because I like anything that's blackened to add
It's
more spice to it. I think
Anything that's
what is
blackened?
great, yeah, what is great about about that bowl is that the way it's covered, right? Because it's like a bowl and has a
Mhm.
lid. So more times than not, when you're at a bowl, I'm not a guy that likes to eat bowls from sides, right? You eat one side, I want it mixed around. So the fact that I can cover that bowl, shake that shit, have everything all mixed together, then remove it. Like
I
I
do
can't do that with a
appreciate that.
Chipotle like tinfoil. Like, what am I gonna do? It's not gonna happen, right?
so for the record though, the Rubio Bowl, I think you're looking at quality over quantity sort of deal. Like it tastes better, but you get a little bit less food.
yeah,
But it does like mix really really well, and it's very very good. Like I haven't had it as frequently as Chipotle because I think it was a little bit more expensive. But man, I had a good time every time I ate that. It was fantastic. But I think a lot of people just like Chipotle simply because you get a good amount of food. Like a lot of people consider this two meals. Like if you get a bowl, you eat half and then the other half for another meal, which I can
it's
understand, but I've never really done it.
it's
Shout out to you.
been yeah, it's been a minute since I've had a Chipotle bowl where it could feel like you can split into two meals. I'm with Jared. They've been skimping that shit for like the longest time now. So you're lucky. You got someone that overpacked that
See
stuff for
that
you.
I was thinking about you guys too because I figured you guys would have the same reaction. Like am I not counting my blessings, but rather complete like a first world problem complaint? There's too much food, I can't handle it. Sort of thing. I felt. Anyways, you listeners out there, I hope you guys get two medium-sized burritos for the price of one instead of. I should have maybe done that. Maybe I should have asked for an extra tortilla.
I don't think.
No.
No.
Okay, it's
So
not the way to do it.
That would be that would be crossing the border into very unhealthy. Those fucking tortillas are like 400 calories.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic. Dude, I know people that get the bowl and then get an extra like a couple tortillas and then make burritos out of them. And that person is me back in the day.
So hey, so Joe,
yeah,
have you ever eaten at a Cafe Rio?
I do not think so. No, what's a Cafe Rio?
It's like a Chipotle, but I think the meat, the sweet pork, is better than anything Chipotle serves.
Okay,
but the local Cafe Rio is the worst run. The worst. Joe, I'm not shitting you. It's the worst managed. I sound like my father, but it's the worst managed fast casual kind of dining experience I've ever had. There will be a line of like 10 people and then like 4 people in the back doing prep and 2 people working the line to get people their order.
Jared's not wrong. It's across.
Thank you, Johnny.
It's across a high school.
Yeah,
a riot. Well, yeah, I would think we're rivals. We're in different school districts. I'm just saying, like,
no, it's the same. It's the same district.
Not. Oh, is it now? Okay. In either case,
it's
their queso though is really good.
The food is incredible, and every time I go there, I'm like, well, maybe it'll be different. And the joke's on me every time because I'm like an abused. Like something or other
it's
going
like
abused puppy, an abused puppy, going back to its master every time and thinking it'll be different. It's not, and I will have to wait at least 20 minutes to get my food. But it's so good. It's so good.
Is it expensive?
Yeah, it is. Way more. It feels way more expensive than Rubio's and Chipotle.
But also, they don't drain the beans enough if you get beans. So I always just go no beans. Yeah. I'd rather have no beans than wet beans.
Okay,
man. We might as well walk across the Tacos El Cajon right over there.
Yeah, that's true.
I miss really good food. Honestly, you guys. For those who don't know, I'm in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. And
I'll overnight you some taqueria.
This is why I think I eat Subway more than I normally would.
That's upsetting.
I mean, but like, if you put yourself in my shoes, we have. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna shit on too many restaurants around me, but they're shit. I'm not.
All right.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
All right, Jared. So
All
last
right.
night was AEW's All Out. You had a 4-hour pay-per-view. You also had their media scrum, which I've just only been reading. Like I saw little highlights, and I've just been reading Reddit, which I think might be the worst thing about all this.
Oh, you probably saw
Tell
some
me,
of my posts on there. Okay, so
yeah,
I'm gonna run through the quick and dirty of it. The event was pretty good. By no means was it one of their best pay-per-views, but I thought it was. They had some pretty great matches. The crowd was not great. They popped a few times. They were really quiet for other times. But that all being said, so CM Punk is has had this long-standing feud with his former like best friend Colt Cabana, and they had like a full-on lawsuit, against WWE because of defamation, and Colt Cabana had a podcast, yada yada yada. Well, they ended up turning on each other. Colt Cabana said that he sued Punk for money. It's this whole thing. Punk is one of those people that's pretty surly and not afraid to cut people out of his life. So he cut Cabana out after he thought he wronged him, yada yada. So apropos of nothing, he's the first one up. He had just won the championship. Mind you, I understand that wrestling is predetermined. I understand. But there's a thing in AEW when you go out to do a promo, they don't really script them for you. They just kind of give you bullet points and you get to say whatever. A few weeks ago, Hangman Page, or actually a few months ago, Hangman Page, when he was the champ, said some stuff about CM Punk and their feud, that he's protecting about workers' rights, and insinuating that Punk was trying to force Cabana out of the company. And another thing is that he was trying to protect AEW from Punk. Now, fast forward a few months, Punk kind of goes into business for himself and just calls Hangman Page out, even though he wasn't supposed to go out, making Page's character look pretty bad. So fast forward to last night, apropos of nothing, he had just won the championship. He's sitting there with the owner, right next to the owner of the company, and Punk starts this tirade, this screed against the executive vice presidents there, who are Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, calling them a bunch of bitch asses and fuck them, this and that. Going off about Colt Cabana using his shoot name, making fun of him that he had his mom and him share a bank account. Like, it was insane. The owner of the company is sitting right now there and it's going, people are giving shit to Tony Khan, the owner of the company, for just kind of nodding along and not doing anything. But what the fuck do you want the guy to do? If he cuts Punk off and says, okay, no, we got to shut this down, I don't know what Punk would have done. I think he could have it in him to start going at it with TK. On the other hand, I can see both sides, but I wouldn't have done anything. I would wait till afterward to, discuss it. But guess what the fuck happened? Apparently, the rumor is there was a physical altercation afterwards in the back with members of the Elite and Punk. A chair was thrown. Kenny Omega apparently got bit, and Nick Jackson got fucking knocked out, apparently. And it was Punk made the company look bad. He embarrassed Tony Khan. I think immediately you either A, need to suspend him, or B, just kick him out and fucking strip him of your world title. Now, this is all people are going to say, oh, it's a work. Now, a work in pro wrestling terms means it's a fake. It's fake. They're working you, yada, yada. There's no way that this is a work. It does not benefit anybody. It makes the company look foolish. And to be honest, the executive producers have threatened to walk. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega started this company with Tony Khan. They are the foundation of this company. And they're like, no, we'll walk. They're going to walk right into WWE's hands. And it would be the worst possible thing for Tony Khan to lose that. I would probably stop watching if that were the case. As much as I love this company and wrestling and everything like that, I would probably stop watching if that happens. I mean, it's just crazy. It like pro wrestling is crazy in the ring, yeah, but the drama that goes on in these guys with these fragile ass egos. Now, I'm not calling the elite have the fragile ass egos, understandably so that they were upset at what was said. I just think if you're the manager, I mean, so Tony Khan owns he owns the Jaguars. His family owns the Jaguars, and his family owns Fulham FC. So he's no stranger to this kind of stuff. I don't know, Johnny, like what would you do if you own that company? I'd immediately, I mean, as much as Punk makes for me, I'd fucking drop his ass.
I think this is the gift and curse of having CM Punk, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's always been like this. Yeah. These are his true colors.
So I don't think it's a work, or it was definitely a shoot. I don't think it's a work simply because it makes no sense logically what this, because at the end, the feud was always going to be MJF versus CM Punk again, right? So calling everyone else in, there's no reason to build anything else outside of this. So, I think, one, he will never admit it, but really the person that should be in Punk's position right now is Bryan Danielson. He's the guy that should be there.
Oh yeah, it should have been Danielson all along.
Right? But we all know he's way more humble, like, and he's the guy that's putting his like word where his like mouth where his words are, because like he's the one trying to help young guys get over, and you could see that.
So this is a quote. So this is a quote from DAZN. Quote, there was an altercation between CM Punk and the Young Bucks early Monday. The Bucks confronted Punk about his comments at the scrum. It did get physical, with Punk throwing punches at least one member of the Bucks. A number of people intervened to separate everyone. That's fucking crazy. The Young Bucks would never, like, you don't know them. Listen, they're nice Christian boys. They've never had the reputation of being confrontational like that. I don't see how you don't suspend or at least get rid of or at least suspend CM Punk for this. Throwing punches. Also, Nick Jackson had his beard dyed to look like 90s era Hollywood Hogan, and it was fucking hilarious. And just thinking of him having that facial hair confronting CM Punk is very funny to me.
I think it's funny how on like Reddit and stuff, like people were just quoting CM Punk as Hollywood Hogan. I thought that shit was hilarious, because it's like you talk about not wanting to be him. This is how you kind of turning to be, right? I just think at the end of it, Tony Khan needs to stop.
Oh yeah,
Tony Khan needs to actually be a boss. Hell or high water. As much as we don't like some decisions that Vince McMahon makes when he was running the show, Vince McMahon, everything went to him, through him, no matter what, for better or worse, right? And I think this is kind of where there's kind of give or take. That being said, as well, it's not good for AEW, because ever since Triple H has taken over, like, they've gotten better.
Better in the most low bar sense of the term. Oh, they can say wrestler now. They can say wrestling now. They still have the shit camera cuts. The Raw is still 3 hours. I'm not going to watch a 3-hour wrestling show, and just shit like that. It sucks.
So slow turns, but I guess that's kind of where we're at. All right, so we'll have to keep on this. I want there to be at least two major wrestling promotions,
at least,
right?
And no, I don't count Impact, because Impact fucking sucks.
you can say that they have no impact in this
Yeah.
discussion. All right. Joe, what's a couple things you've watched this past week?
Dude, after listening to you guys talk about that, it was completely like a foreign language to me, to be honest. I don't follow any of it, but the passion is definitely there. In terms of TV shows, I started watching Archer again. The new season's out. Still a fan, still like it. I think for those who are still fans of Archer, even with the loss of Jessica Walter, I think that it still maintained its like whatever BS that Archer deals with all the time. Like that's still there, and I think that's really the mainstay of why people watch this stuff. Other than that, I've been watching a lot of like sports, college football. I watched the LSU game, FSU LSU game. That was a fantastic. It was a snooze fest for about 3 quarters, and then it was awesome at the end. I think I enjoy these a lot more as a neutral viewer. I think because you just want crazy shit to happen all the time. I've been watching a little bit of U.S. Open. I watch Serena Williams say goodbye to the sport, which is quite interesting and quite like bittersweet is the best way I can put it. Nick Kyrgios beating Medvedev in U.S. Open. I still think that Nadal is going to take it with no problem, honestly. But yeah, just a lot of that kind of stuff. I'm very excited for the NFL coming back because I'm more of an NFL guy than a college football guy. But I did have a guy tell me that he likes college ball just because of defense is kind of shittier and you can have crazier shit happening all the time. And I'm like, I sort of get that. But for all you stands out there thinking that any college football team can beat an NFL team, go jump off a bridge because that's the dumbest thing I've heard in my life. I don't understand that at all. I don't give a shit how good Alabama or Ohio State is. They're not gonna hang out in the NFL. Like it's not gonna happen. Like not even remotely. It's gonna be like a sad game if that happens. Although I would watch it though because that's a good way to make money with some pay-per-view shit. I just think these kids will get injured straight up. Like they're not playing against professional men. Anyways. Right. Yeah, and like actually good corners that give you like a yard of space. Come on, get out of here. But yeah, no, just watch a lot of sports, a little bit of that, and also watch the topic we have today. But that's really about it.
Yeah, I know with I know we had this discussion before, Joe, about how like you can tell the difference between college basketball and professional, right?
So NBA, much right? Different. Yeah.
But I like yesterday was like this weekend when I was watching college football, it was like the first weekend where I can like literally be like, yeah, it's just college kids. It's fine. Like, yeah, your people like to root for that alma mater. I get it. So that will always kind of proceed. But anyone that says college football is better than the NFL or college baseball is better than Major League Baseball, college basketball is better than NBA, I'm like, no, that's not relatively close.
I think college football is bad.
Yeah,
I'm on record as saying this, and everyone's like, "Whoa, you just didn't go to a college with the football." No, okay, yeah, I'm fully aware of that. I think it's bad still.
Do you think it's bad in terms of entertainment or bad in terms of skill?
Both.
Really,
one precedes the other. I can't be invested in something that is. I have a hard time. I said I don't want to say I can't because I can. I'll watch the Rose Bowl, yada yada. It's hard for me to watch a game or be invested in a game where both teams it's like 57-84. It's like, guys, what are we fucking doing here? Like, what?
Do you know what I'm going to ask you next, right?
Yeah, tell me.
Don't do it. Do not do it.
Tell me. Yeah.
Do you? How do you watch?
I do not watch the WNBA. I knew what you were going to say. Mark this down. What time? What's the time? 29 minutes. 29 minutes. Edit.
God. This guy.
There we go. Got that down for you, Johnny. You don't even have to take notes. I got you.
Oh, God.
Hey, Joe, would you rather your local WNBA team?
$5. $5. I'll take the $5.
Okay. I was going to say a quarter, but.
Oh Lord. Okay,
Joe,
outside of
listen,
outside of
I don't have issue with WNBA. I think Joe's the one that
Listen. I personally don't have any issue with it because it doesn't affect me. I don't watch it. However, they've been bitching about having to get more money and stuff, which is absolutely absurd. And soccer, same thing. They've been asking for money, absolutely absurd. So that's the only thing I have problems with. I have no problems with women's sports. I don't have any problem with the fact that they're very successful and doing their thing. That's
I think
fine.
I think the women's national team should make as much as the men's national team
So
because
I think if
they put on a much better product.
yes, but I think the problem there is that they did make more money, right? If you break down their contract, or whatever, but they just didn't like something about it, and now they just shot themselves in the foot because if they don't win the World Cup again, they're making significantly less because they took a bigger gamble, which the men have been doing. That's for another discussion. But go ahead, Johnny.
All right, so there's a couple movies. I have the Criterion Collection streaming package channel.
It's so good. It's so good.
Wait,
So
what is this?
it's just all select Criterion movies that they put on there.
No, you would hate it. It's all pretentious
Yeah,
movies.
it's
Ah.
so I was watching. I wanted to watch The Third Man because it's like top 2 British movies of all time from like everybody that's a British critic, right? I was like, okay, let me see this movie. You know, it has Orson Welles in it, and and I watched it, and it's like kind of like a post-war noir film. Holy shit, that movie is so goddamn good. I was like, I get it. I understand why you guys have it as like the second best movie from Britain ever. I understand now. So I was glad to watch that. I saw 2 movies in theaters. I saw 3,000 Years of Longing. It's a new George Miller movie. Has like Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton. It is a movie that has a lot of good set pieces, but not a very cohesive through line to it. Idris Elba was really good in this movie. I just thought that, it was very lacking. Also, keep in mind, people, when you see a movie that says from the director of Mad Max Fury Road, let me tell you something about this movie. It is closer to Babe than it is to Mad Max Fury Road. What I mean by that is that if you're expecting action set pieces, you are so going to be disappointed. George Miller is a great director, but he also can do Mad Max. He can do Babe. He did Happy Feet. Like, this guy can do a lot of different movies. So don't go into this movie thinking you're going to watch Mad Max. Because if you are, I feel so bad for you. Don't do it. Another movie I saw was Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. It has Regina King, Sterling K. Brown. It's actually on Peacock right now. I enjoyed the movie. It's not like, for the most part, it was good. It's like a mockumentary on a pastor and his first lady trying to regain a congregation after a scandal that's happened. It's not so much an indictment on the religion. It's more of an indictment on mega churches and what they do, right? We like the Joel Osteens of the world, stuff like that. When it focuses on satire, it works really well. Sterling K. Brown has some comedic chops. If you know who he is, he's like in This Is Us. He's always a serious guy. But him and Regina Hall were really good in this movie. Their acting alone, performance alone, makes it worth watching. So I saw it in theater because it was $3 on a Saturday. I was like, plus it's hot as hell right now in Huntington Beach, so I'd rather be in an air conditioned theater to watch the movie than stream it at home. I get it; it's part of it, but
fucking horse shit. That Joe yesterday was 101
at like 11 o'clock.
I heard about the heat wave, man. I looked at the weather for the next week or so. I'm really hoping it cools down for you guys. It sucks.
Yeah, so that's all I watched over the past week. What about you, Jared?
Usual Pro Wrestling. I will say that I am in season 5 of Grey's Anatomy, and it's very good. I'm a sucker for medical shows. I will watch like the top one probably being ER for me. House is in there, but the last season's got so bad that I just don't know about it. But I'll watch any medical show you put in front of me. I think they're super interesting. Starting with kind of the OGER with just the type of serious TV it was mixed with like getting to know the people in the ER. I really, really, really like medical TV shows. And Grey's Anatomy, I kind of put it on as a joke, like, haha, funny, funny. Oh, this is a popular show. And then I just
got sucked into it.
roped in, and I binged that shit. And this is like 20 episode seasons. It's crazy. I've been watching that, and not really much else. I started The Resort on Peacock. That is a real fun movie, I think, or not movie, series. You guys I think you would really like it. The less said about it, the better. Going with not knowing anything about it. And I haven't really watched much else. Other than that, except for what we're going to talk about today.
And today we're talking about The Rehearsal. It's from Nathan Fielder, which I don't know who he is until Jared recommended this previous episode. But it's a docuseries about.
Is it a docuseries?
That's what IMDb refers it to. I'm just gonna go from there, or Wikipedia as well.
Calls it a docu-comedy.
So series, comedy. There's a lot of things we can take from this. I will say this up front, like the first episode is like 40 something minutes. Everything else is 30 minutes after. There's only 6 episodes. It's something that you guys, if you wanted to give like one good binge, this would be a binge, right? Because
I'm gonna like, before we talk about this, it's spoilers gonna sound crazy. I don't think you could. I don't think it is. Other than the premise of the show, I don't think you can really spoil much because it's something that you're not going to understand. Kind of like Joe listening to us talk about pro wrestling. Let me lead a discussion on this. When in the first episode, when the first little layer is peeled back, that Nathan prepared for this conversation with this man by recreating his apartment. What did you guys think? What was your first reaction to that? Joe, I was so happy that your reaction on the text thread, at least, was like, what the fuck?
I immediately thought it was the black man's going to get murdered by this insane psychopath. Because who the fuck does this? And who has the resources to do this exact thing? By the way, for the record, I'm watching this whole series as if it was absolutely real. Because I think it made it a much more enjoyable viewing.
Say that one more time.
Like if every single person was not an actor, an actual person, like in my brain, and also like the deadpan like expression on Nathan Fielder, and like the whole computer shit that he's doing, where he's building
his computer, like
he's building a whole freaking thing. It's straight up like it was like a circle within a circle within a circle, and it just kept going. Oh my god, it's incredible, very satisfying to watch. Confusing, insane, but satisfying.
I'm trying to come from an angle to talk about this, but it's not ever mean-spirited. I think the thing about this show is that Nathan never is mean-spirited towards these people. You know what I mean? It's all in like this.
He seems very genuine.
Yeah,
he seems very good intentioned. He almost feels like like I don't know if
Now,
like I don't know how to describe it.
would it surprise you if I told you that he likes magic? He's like a magic enthusiast.
Yeah, but I don't I don't really know how to like categorize that as like a personality. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
But he likes illusions.
sure, then I guess I can see how this could be done. You know, I just the fact you know what it is because the voiceover is like, so I went ahead and built this whole bar exactly how it
And
is, and
it's
I'm like,
and
how
that's
are you saying this as if this is a normal thing to do?
I laughed so hard at the reveal of the bar because it was like on the meta level of he's using HBO's money to do this. He has recreated a shitty bar and they're
Like
just and
in a warehouse.
this guy that he found on Craigslist has fully bought into the Fielder process.
So I think it would help for the listeners, anyways, to actually explain. Because if it was a random person that never watched it, we're just talking about random shit, right?
Uh,
It's so hard to explain if they don't watch it, though.
So
They have to
okay,
at least
look.
watch the first episode.
So I guess the best way I can explain it, and correct me if I'm wrong, is basically Nathan Fielder is apparently like a pretty well connected guy, which HBO pays for a bunch of stuff.
well, he's a comedian.
Right. But again, HBO apparently has unlimited money. So he walks into this guy's house and says, "Hey, I understand that you want it's like a black guy into his apartment and says, "Hi, my name is Nathan. I am here to
No, well,
help you."
they set it up on Craigslist. Like he had like
Oh,
a
okay.
he put
Right,
out
the
an ad
black
on Craigslist to meet,
right, right,
and
right.
he wants to he's help. His name is Core, and Core he wants to help Core with his problem of exposing this deep dark secret, which I think at the end when he told her, and it was just not a big deal. I think it was such like a really nice moment because we've all been there. We can all empathize with Cora of like, oh man, I've had this deep dark thing, and it's not that big of a deal. I think Nathan is like really trying to help him, and
So
by
again, I think you have to explain it. At least
and
explain the first
and
episode.
the way Nathan helps him. Well, it's first revealed that listen, Core, I've had this conversation with you multiple times. And Core's like, what? Nathan has recreated room for room, like furniture to furniture, a recreation of his apartment. He sent like a gas
Like a
department
cleaning crew or
people
something.
cleaning
Yeah.
crew weeks before and like did like scans of his apartment and has built a 1-to-1 replica and hired another actor to play Core to rehearse their interaction. Now, that sounds insane because it is. It's very unhinged. Did you guys think when he was like, when he explained to Core, hey, this is what I did, what did you think his reaction was going to be?
What the fuck? Get the fuck out of my apartment, right?
Yeah.
Like, but then
Oh,
he's like,
yeah.
oh, he's just like, oh,
Interesting.
okay, yep.
And then it's explained, hey, I could do this for you for your deep dark secret of I don't have a master's degree and his friends think he does have a master's degree. It's this total benign thing. How about when he set up that this was very sweet to me. There were all blanks in the shot in the skeet shooting. So
So
they
that
could
he could
bond over being bad at skeet shooting.
look. So I his thought process I can understand because he explains it. He goes, I like to bond with him. I want, but it seems almost sinister. It's like I want him to open up and tell me his
Yeah.
deep dark secrets and shit.
Yeah.
But what struck me the most, and for you listening, basically what happened was they rehearsed the thing at the bar, and then they actually did the him confronting his friend. Turns out it wasn't a big deal. The friend was very I personally expected the friend to blow up in his face, but it didn't. Friend was very understanding. He's, oh, it's not a big deal, and they actually had a really long talk and opening up, and they got actually closer at the end. What was absolutely insane for me because
It's
I was
a,
watching.
It's days like these I curse the Chinese for inventing
the
gunpowder.
So so what was absolutely insane for me was at the end when he was rehearsing the blowback of cheating on the trivia, and the actor black guy absolutely went nuts
freaked
on
out.
him.
Yeah.
For a second, the lines were blurred for me, and I thought that was Core first, like half a second. I'm like,
do
what?
you think he told Core? I don't think he did.
I don't think that's the
I
whole
don't
thing.
think he
I
did.
don't think he did.
He went
And
the other side of that flowchart.
this is why you get thinking, there's a chance that if he told Core could have been like that sucks, but I'll forgive you because my other thing went really well, because like the whole thing is technically fake. See, but now we're running in circles again.
So let's fast forward a couple episodes to
the second episode is even ridiculous.
This conversation. I'm going to jump around to some of my favorite spots. This conversation is going to be really weird if you've never watched the show. So please watch the show.
Yes, at least the first 2 episodes. That really sets you up really good.
The fucking guy, what was his name? Her quote unquote boyfriend, the 88 guy, the numerology guy.
I don't know his name. I fucking love the guy though.
Hold on. Scion.
It's Scion car. That's so good.
Like,
oh
my god. Okay. That guy was clearly an insane person.
I'm sorry. They're both insane. Are you serious?
What are you talking about?
Angela and...
Oh, yeah. Angela's...
Robin, that's his name.
Robin, yeah. Robin and Angela. Angela is... Okay. Before anything, when the cold open of the episode was them taking a child and putting a dummy child in the bed, what were your thoughts? I was like, oh no, what is happening? And then the mom picked it up. I go, what is happening? Did they steal a child? And then it unfolds.
I thought that... I'm thinking, how can this be cleared by HBO or anything?
How?
Like, I don't know what the rules are, like real rules are on child actors. And there's a lot of kids in this.
And we'll circle back to that later because the ending is just
what the but I'm happy that with this the next giant rehearsal was kind of a lengthier one.
Yeah. It spanned the rest of the episodes.
Right. With the one about the inheritance kind of layered on top. He did a separate rehearsal, which is absolutely insane. It feels mean almost for some of these. Like, I don't think it's almost as if this dude is devoid of emotion and pure logic. And while logically it seems like it's a very kind thing to do, it got ridiculous. And we talked about this before where he's like, I'm going to start doing the Fielder method to get more actors. But I didn't know
that episode. I think that episode was my favorite because it got so crazy.
And I started losing track because he started doing the Fielder method, and then he started playing an actor in the Fielder method, and then he started becoming the actor. And when he put the actor in another home, he had himself playing himself, move him as an actor to another home, and it's just like at some point there has to be like diminishing returns on all the stuff you're doing. You broke into this dude's house and slept in his bed. How is that okay?
I don't know. He didn't break in.
Okay, he was given the keys, but he didn't expect him to sleep in his bed, right? Like,
he should have. It's the Fielder method.
oh my god!
And then the son having the drug overdose, and then his whole "you're a fucking disaster, my guy." That is the funniest line in the whole show.
I gotta say, for the as an overarching thing though, is that the actors in this show are incredibly good.
Incredible.
Like whoever the person is in charge of hiring or whatever it is, did a phenomenal job. And the one thing towards the end that I took away is I've complained in the past where I think a lot of child actors in shows are not good. They're not good representation of kids.
Yeah. Thank you.
In this
Yeah.
show, it was perfect. Like even as them being an actor, faux actor in the show, them acting as a kid was on point. This is what you expect a kid to act like.
Mm-hmm.
And like I can't imagine it. Like, why can't other big productions, when they're taking kids, do that as well? Is it because kids are sort of real kids are boring to watch?
I don't know.
You know,
They are
But-
boring to watch. It
but
just
it
works in
worked
this.
here. You know,
Well, it's
But let
because
me-
they're trying to raise a kid. That's a little
So-
bit different.
We gotta wrap the talk up of the rehearsal. But how did you feel about the end episode when Remy, the little boy, was clearly having difficulty with that?
Okay, like does this mess up because the kid's probably like what, 4 or whatever it is, or 3? Like actually, like how do you,
I actually studied this phenomenon a lot in school. I'm a child development major, wrote a lot of papers on it. This happens over and over and over and over in a child's life. Not just with like, oh, dad went to the fucking get SIGs and never came back.
yeah,
you know what I mean? It happens when a small child loses a parent. It happens even more strongly at times with year to year. A kindergartner is not going to see his kindergarten teacher anymore. The next year, it's a new person. They're not ready for that. Like a lot of times they're not capable of grasping that. And like Remy as a small child, it is completely natural that he had that reaction to him, but he will be fine. The human brain, or the child brain, is resilient enough to withstand that kind of stuff. It was great that he came over and, hi, no, I'm not daddy, I'm Nathan. You know, the whole, but it was heartbreaking to watch. Like you saw, especially if it's a single mom, you know, like it was, all of that. It was very sad, but really interesting.
So the only comment I have about that is, while I understand that part is, but in the context of the show, you're telling me they hired a kid and convinced him that,
Joe, it was this was happening over months.
right?
So if this
Like,
kid was his kid every single day,
right,
for a month, let's say,
yeah,
why would, and his brain is developing so fast,
No.
like a 3-year-old or something like that. Why wouldn't he think that?
So no. So my question isn't that. It's more like, imagine the talk you have to have with the real parents. Hey, we're doing an HBO show. We're gonna have this guy hang out with your kid for months to pretend that he's his dad, for the sake of the show, and we're gonna describe the whole thing. Parents are like, okay. Like,
well, that's kind of what the mom felt like at the end. I think she felt really bad and it didn't really connect with her. One, I don't think they understood the scope of the show. And 2, I don't think they understood, like, wow, this could really fuck up my kid.
I mean, I think the kid's gonna be fine. I completely agree with you. In terms of at least wrapping this up, I personally was a little bit confused how it ended. Like, why did he end with an ass shot of Nathan's? Like, he went too deep, man. He looked too deep within. Like, why did he have to become the mom and then like, no, I'm your dad?
No, do you know?
It's just like,
do you know
what the fuck is going on?
Do you know what this season 1 is? Do you know what this is, Joe?
Well, apparently not.
This is a rehearsal for season 2.
Oh, God.
It's gonna go deeper.
I'm kind of with Johnny here when he mentioned that he liked that fact that it's only one season, and I just don't know.
Unless he completely changes it up.
I'll watch season 2 just because how good season 1 was.
Yeah.
I just, for a lot of stuff like,
well, nothing's ever gonna top that first moment of what the fuck.
Yeah,
when you see that apartment.
The insaneness you'll have to go without it being repetitive will be very challenging. And if he does another second season, it is of my opinion that he writes it really well and concludes it and wraps it up really well. And I think that's it, in my opinion.
I also think there's a chance he doesn't know what a second season looks like either.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
so
yeah,
we'll see. Season 2 in 2024 or something.
Yeah, I mean, the series, it did get picked up for a second season. For guys out there, I mentioned in the chat, it's just like with our chat, is like, I think as a one-off, this is great because to me, out of all the craziness that happened, I think it's just there's a lot of ways to read the show. I kind of read it as that him trying to understand himself, right?
Yeah,
Real or not,
Johnny, absolutely.
that's all that I was feeling. And so at the end, I think he kind of felt shit. Maybe I shouldn't have done this show, like because of just deep diving into everything he's done. And I think that last episode kind of hammers the point that like, is he helping more than he's hurting, or vice versa, right? Um, but that being said, I love the conceit of the show. I think that Joe's right. Like, if you're trying to figure out if they're in on the show or not, it doesn't make it for to me that much an enjoyable show. Take it at face value. These guys.
Did you notice that like the ambulance actors and everybody else were the Fielder method people from his workshop?
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a couple. I had to rewind a bunch of times.
It's a good it's a good way to look at the show. With the way it's constructed, it makes you really kind of look out, not just what's happening, but what's happening around them, right? I think we can all agree the Fielder method, that fourth episode was the best one, because that shit, he inceptioned himself, which I thought was great. It kind of went through Angela herself, my god, like,
insane.
if she is real, which I believe she is, just absolutely balls to the wall, like crazy, like just crazy, man.
I keep going back to when his parents showed up.
I know.
I can't be Jewish, and they're like, well, it's completely fake.
Oh man. And she ruined Apocalypto for me. I'm just like, God damn it, man! Like, how is your favorite movie Apocalypto? Like, what's your favorite movie Apocalypto? Like,
Mel Gibson.
How does that? Mel Gibson.
So I'm going to give her so much credit for playing an actress that I vehemently hated, which means they did such a good job. The problem is, I sort of know someone like this in real life, and I vehemently hate them because they're like,
you had him eat feces. That's satanic.
Satanic.
He was vamping, and the doctor farted. He was like, he ate feces. No, anyway, I was, I'm going with it. I was vamping. He was riffing. No, that's the word. He was riffing.
Oh my god!
It's like that satanic.
This show is 1,000% off the rails. Off the rails, insane. And it's absolutely worth a watch.
Yeah, I would say this show like does a lot of crazy things, but it never, to me, it never crossed being mean spirited. Like he genuinely is trying to get them to embrace something, right? And that first episode kind of set the tone, because after the first 15 minutes, where there is stuff where you're just like, ugh, kind of cringing, but then you get it and you keep moving along, even though it's crazy what you're like accepting that he's doing. I just thought, the first episode established really well what the next 2 to 6 worked. So, like Joe said, I think, and Jared's going to say it too, I think if you guys haven't, you guys really should give this show a shot. It's one of the more original things that I've seen with television in a while.
I think here's my last take about, not about the show, but about the people watching it. I think there's a good chance like 40% of you even might not think it's funny, and you're going to be like, what is this?
I would say 25% of listeners out there will just say, I don't like this at all.
Yeah, that's valid. That is completely valid. But it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. All right, you guys. So we're going to end it with what we call our 90s action draft. I think we'll do this from time to time. I think it'll be fun to do kind of a movie draft. Movies that we think, you know what, you build your team. I usually don't tell people how to build their teams. I think it is, whether it's your top 5 list or you're trying to round out a good 5 movies you want to show people. We want to start off with 90s action because, I think me and Jared grew up with 90s action. Joe just caught up afterwards once he got to college. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna random generate. We'll go through Snake. That way we'll see who gets to pick first.
Are we also doing the thing where if someone else picks a movie, you have to pick something else?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a draft. But you are correct. So let's see here.
And this is from the calendar year of 1990 to 1999.
Correct. So nothing, whatchamacallit. Jared, Johnny, Joe. Joe, give me a number from 1 to 5.
I'll go with 4.
Okay, I'm going to randomize this 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Joe's going to take the last pick at number 3. I will have number 2. So Jared, you get to start off this draft. We're going to draft 5 movies, Snake format. So we'll start with you, Jared.
Is it? We're not ordering them. These are just our 5 best.
5,
right?
yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. I think 90s action movies defined my life. Honestly,
this is tough.
Like,
I'm gonna go with probably my favorite one of the 90s in True Lies.
True Lies.
True Lies is peak Arnold Schwarzenegger to me because it's so funny. And Jamie Lee Curtis is great. But this movie, I want to do an episode on it one week because it's just absolutely hilarious, and the tropes it makes fun of and everything like that. And shouts to Bill Paxton for being the perfect sleazy car used salesman.
Dude, True Lies is everyone keeps saying it's underrated as a James Cameron film. It is. Like it gets buried within his filmography of stuff that he does. So I got the next one. I just recently saw this movie on TV, and you know what? Here's the thing. Like, I think you guys understand this. We know that when a movie is broadcast on TV and has commercials, we fucking hate it because that's something that happens. But if I'm willing to sit through these commercials just because I can finish this damn movie, that's how I know how great this movie is. I thought John Travolta, Nicolas Cage acted so well in this movie, switching as each other, that, as I grew up, I realized, shit, they were just acting like themselves. Give me Face Off. This is my pick here. John Woo's best American film. I really hope they're not doing a remake. I know they are. I know they are. It just, to me, it won't be as fun, but this is such a great action movie.
I'm gonna take The Matrix. I'm picking mine just based on how impactful it was for me in terms of how memorable it was. So I'm gonna take good old Matrix. I think that really defined a lot of CGI and down the line. It just did and Keanu Reeves, fantastic. So Matrix for me.
Yeah, Matrix is a great one.
And if I were snaking, I'm taking the next one. I'm gonna take Mission Impossible.
Fuck.
It really kicked off, a series of movies. I think that it, that sound was, it really, sets off a lot of things in my brain, and it's a nice classic mission, just action movie. It has all the things you need in it, and I just, it has to be in my top 2. So there you go.
Coming back to me, I think with this movie, it's a sequel. I think the sequel is better than the original.
Ooh.
And I think at least in this era, because James Cameron didn't make 3 movies. This is his best
Oh
one. Give me Terminator 2 Judgment Day, because that movie
man, that's such
falls
a
to the wall so great because it had one of the best villains in the T-1000. Dude, Robert Patrick, that man is scary as fuck. Running. And then you had Limo Hamilton being a badass from what happened in Terminator to what happened in T2. I just think this shit is incredible. Give me Terminator 2.
damn.
All right, Jared, you got next 2, baby.
All right, the next one on my list. There's just so many to think about right now.
There's so many.
I'm gonna classify this as an action movie, even though it's not. Even though it might not be, I'm going to use my executive powers and say Jurassic Park.
Interesting. Okay.
That's a total action movie, isn't it? Like the whole cafeteria scene. Or was actually that is that a horror movie?
So I would classify it as an
Shit.
action adventure. I don't know if that really,
But it
But I would say
structured
okay.
kind of like a horror movie.
I would say yes. Because the main characters are running away from stuff rather than like fighting. I guess.
It's
But,
our
I mean-
it's our draft.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it all. Jurassic Park was fantastic.
I'm just
if-
personally.
If you're personally against it, it's on you, man.
If you're personally get your own pick, that's something that.
Yeah, like now that I'm thinking about it, I would classify it as a horror movie. Okay. I'm gonna throw that out. Disregard Jurassic Park. I'm gonna go with Heat.
Good pick.
Because Heat has the best extended shootout scene in a movie ever filmed. I don't know, maybe ever filmed. And I'm not talking about a war movie. This is Val Kilmer, Robert De Niro against Al Pacino, just gunning fools down, walking down Hollywood or the middle of LA. It's just so good. And then, I mean, what that was 1995. That was probably De Niro's last amazing role.
Really? Is it really?
Yeah, I think so, because he started just phoning it in with Meet the Parents after that.
Dude, you know how much money you make after that for those comedies, though?
Because
I love me some Meet the Parents, man.
But like,
No,
keep in mind, I have to assume Heat was rated R.
Oh yeah,
right. So it's like
also almost a 3-hour movie.
Right, you could do Heat. It was really good movie, but like once you introduce kids with PG-13 movies, the amount of money you make, bro. The amount of money. But
it's just,
okay.
Because it expands the amount of people that could see it. And
Absolutely,
then and then the third one, I'm gonna go with probably The Rock.
Ooh.
Okay. Nice.
I like The Rock.
The Rock from 1996. Just Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage just being ridiculous, and like it's a complete Michael Bay masterpiece, with all that bullshit. So far I have my number 1,
True Lies.
My number 2, Heat, and number 3, The Rock. So
man, two Nick Cage movies out of the way, 2 Arnie movies out of the way.
Oh yeah, baby.
And all of our picks, So the third movie I have, I think, I was debating to see if it was still going to be here, if I just let it go, but it has such. Keanu needs to be here as well.
Okay,
I said Matrix.
Matrix gone.
No, but that's not.
What do you think I'm going to pick next? I absolutely love Speed. Speed has to be in here.
Speed is so good.
It's so good. I mean, who thought Keanu Reeves with a buzz cut can just pull it off as an action star? I absolutely.
He did it in The Matrix. He was buzz cut in The Matrix.
The bus that couldn't slow down.
But yes, give me Speed.
Okay. All right. So for my third and fourth, I'm gonna pick Die Hard.
Is that wait? Was that 90s?
Wait,
I think it
no,
was 98.
you're talking about Die Hard with a Vengeance, or
Right,
Die
yes.
Hard?
Okay. Oh man,
Okay.
Die Hard with a Vengeance is the best one out of the original one. Great pick.
I think it just it's a classic. It's oh man, Bruce Willis, man, Bruce Willis. I will never be tired of Die Hard. And it's has a cult following with everything. And my other one is kind of like a different. It's different from everything else. I'm gonna put Rush Hour just
Okay.
because it's a comedy, thing. It's Jackie Chan, and I think that kind of molded me into the whole insane kung fu action stuff that is all of Jackie Chan's stuff, and that's what made me follow all of his movies from that point. So, good old Rush Hour. And that's my fourth.
All right, Johnny.
Dun 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 dun. Look, we all, Jared might have watched James Bond a little bit earlier, but I think a lot of us started with GoldenEye as the first Bond movie we saw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and it still holds up, man. I fucking love this movie. Pierce Brosnan, he might not be the best Bond because I think that's actually Daniel Craig. But he's the Bond I grew up with. So give me GoldenEye. I fucking love that movie, man. Like, just who runs a tank down Russia? Like, shit. It's just so good, man.
Because I'm very delayed like that. My first movie was Die Another Day, and then I watched GoldenEye.
Ugh.
Yeah, it just, it's just how it was. That's the timing of stuff. But good pick.
My final two. Boy, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go for my second to last pick. I'm gonna do another Keanu joint.
Ooh,
represented well on this list, and I'm going to do Point Break because, beautiful. And you got some Patrick Swayze on there. You got Johnny Utah. Man, like, is there like when he's running away and he just yells and he shoots the gun in the air? There's nothing. that is the 90s right there. It's the best.
Yeah.
And gosh, there's
the last pick.
There's the last pick on my draft. There's just too many to name. But I think not naming something with Harrison Ford would be a misstep.
Right. Okay.
And I think Air Force One.
Damn it!
I think Air Force One is that pick for me. Get off my plane.
Do you? So you're thinking
Gary Oldman?
You thinking Air Force One is better than Clear and Present Danger?
See, Joe, that was my other one. That was the one. Shit.
I would say that for Harrison Ford, in terms of 90s action films, has a lot of films, but he's like especially a tiny half step below all the stuff I liked. Especially since we're only drafting 5, is the only thing I'd say about that. But okay.
The whole Jack Ryan saga he was in, Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, are just, oh man, it's so fucking good. And then that's what kind of makes me bummed that the Jack Ryan show on Amazon was nothing like the Harrison Ford Jack Ryan. But that's neither here nor there. Johnny, you are up.
Man, I was gonna pick that. Should I get Jean-Claude Van Damme in here with Time Cop? Probably
Dude,
not.
It's you, man. It's you.
Sylvester Stallone had some bangers. Cliffhanger. Actually, I don't know if Cliffhanger's a banger. I thought it was fine. I think to me, I am going to pick a Jackie Chan movie. It's not.
Yeah, good
it's
call.
The one that kind of, to me, solidified him coming. This movie once it got released, was like, okay, he has to come to America and do Rumble in the Bronx and do Rush Hour, right? And that's Super Cop 3 or Police Story 3, but it's called Super Cop. Him and Michelle Yeoh together were so good. And the stunts in those movies, I think this wasn't young Jackie Chan anymore. This is like middle-aged Jackie Chan, but he still can do some of the best stunts out there. Having Michelle Yeoh be with him was so good because she was doing a lot of her stunts herself, and she was really good in that.
Did you hear recently what Quentin Tarantino said about her not being in Kill Bill? Apparently, she said she wanted to be in Kill Bill, but Quentin was like, no one would believe that she could kick your ass.
Do you think it's because she comes off as like a really nice person?
No, because Michelle Yeoh is such a fucking badass.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. She could never lose.
No way Uma Thurman's gonna.
No, there's just no way.
There's no way. That's some smart Quentin Tarantino right there.
All right. For my last pick, I'm gonna just name off a couple that should have been on there, that I wanted to put on there. For example, Man in Black. It just defined me a lot. Independence Day, same deal.
Sure.
In terms of what you said before, Harrison Ford, like Fugitive, that should have been on there. The last two that I was kind of flipping and flopping on was I really wanted to put Hard Boiled on there.
Okay.
Hard Boiled is great. It's
so good. But I think I'm gonna take Wesley Snipes and Blade. When I watched it, I was just like, this is insanely good. This was just, I was enthralled the whole time.
Hell yeah.
And this is not to put the other movies that listed, anything like that. We're just limited to 5. So I'm gonna pick Blade, and I'm very satisfied with my list. So Blade will be my last.
I'm very interested that nobody chose The Mummy.
So with the Whale coming out and Brendan Fraser making kind of a comeback, I think that whenever I look at a film like that, like for example The Mummy, I consider it like an adventure movie. I don't know why, and I'm sure I'm wrong about it. But when I'm thinking action movie, I'm thinking a lot of fighting. And with The Mummy, it's almost like a choose your own adventure type of thing where you discover stuff and there's fighting and there's The Rock in there and all that kind of stuff. Like almost like Indiana Jones sort of thing.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, that movie is fantastic. It just in terms of pure action, I guess I considered it something different.
Yeah, I hear you. I think if I had a couple extra slots, the 2 movies I wish I could have put on there, one is Desperado. It's a fucking great movie.
Oh yeah.
And then the other one is, if Heat is Robert De Niro's last great movie, a very, very, very good movie that he did after was Ronin. Ronin was such a goddamn movie.
Ronin was good.
Ronin was good. Have one of the best car chases that you'll see. Like, it's so good. But yeah, those are 2. If I had a couple more slots, that definitely would have been on my list.
Nice. Well, I think our lists are pretty good.
Yeah, this list of 15 movies is going to be in pretty much every single 90 kids list. Like, we hit like the heart of it, I think. Like, I can't be too mad at this list. And all the stuff you guys picked was on my list as well, because I was like, my list is going to get completely crushed by you guys too. So I figured there's a lot of overlap.
Perfect. Joe, tell us where they can find us.
Hey guys, you can always find us on social media at FilmLoversGTTG. I'm really hoping that at least for some out there, you'll watch the rehearsal and have a good time. I can totally understand that if you don't, and it's like, oh, this is ridiculous. It totally makes sense. On the topic of the 90s movies, I'm really hoping for those late 20s to 30-year-olds out there that we really hit home a lot of nostalgia and a lot of movies that you guys did. And I'm fairly confident that's going to be the case. And I think a lot of the movies we picked up really held up over time. I think it did really well, and I think it's really worth rewatching. And that's coming from a guy that doesn't rewatch a lot of movies. But anyways, kind of send us all your things at Film Lovers GTTG.
Jared?
Hello. You can find me talking about like pro wrestling, and I think I'm going to start live tweeting Grey's Anatomy because I've been told that kind of stuff is funny to read. You can find me at JLUTHY on Twitter. JLuthi. Do not add me on Instagram.
Because he won't add you back. Look, you guys, you can find me on Twitter, even though I haven't been active on there, at JNO11. But you can find me more on Letterboxd, JNGO11. More movies I see, I'll be able to rank them. I have a couple lists up there that you can take a look at as well. But next week, Robert Zemeckis and Tom Hanks team up again, this time with the live-action remake of Pinocchio. So come, Galaxy Brains, and join us. Until next time.
So bad. It's going to be so bad.